the start of the jacket, the first instructions to simplify things and to make it in a way that is easy to follow, so you can get a head start on the weekend. Okay, here is a layout of all the pattern pieces, and what I want you to do, there is a lot of seams that are just vertical, half an inch, nothing to it. Okay, so but sometimes as a student it's hard to understand which pieces go together. So what we are doing is we color coding the seams that go together. Okay, so like for instance, the two-piece, this is the lining, this is your jacket, so this is your outer garment, inner garment. The two-piece sleeves on the inside of the lining, you see you have an outer seam with the two notches, and you have an inner seam with one notch. Now these things look actually very easy, right? But when you do this for the first time, it can still be confusing. So by color coding it, and you also see your pattern, you can kind of correspond maybe a little bit easier to your fabric. So you can use this as a guide. And what I want you to do is do all the vertical seams, right? Vertical, horizontal. We're only doing vertical. So don't worry about shoulder seams or pockets or any of that. So, like for instance, the only two pieces that are going to touch each other as far as the outer and the inner garment is the front facing. You can see I used green, and then your front lining piece, green. So these two pieces actually touch. And here is the jacket after it's finished. This is the two pieces I'm just talking about. Here's your front piece, and here's your front facing. So in here, when you take this inner part, you see all these seams are vertical seams, see? Vertical, vertical. There's nothing to it. They're all half-inch seams, and like in here's your inner seam, your darts. The only seam I don't want you to do is the back seam for the lining, because I have to show you how to do the action pleat. It's not quite obvious the way it looks on the pattern, so you need some instructions. For the outer garment, you can work the back, which is just the center seam and the darts, and then you put it aside, because for this part, like right here, so this is the back, and then here is the front and the side piece. Front and the side piece. Now we want to get that ready for doing the pocket on Monday. Okay, so I want you to put your interfacing on. Now these two pieces don't have a pattern for the interfacing. You just use the self pattern. This piece has to be fully interfaced, and so does this. So what you do is you put your interfacing on first, fuse it, and then you go and trace your dart, transfer the dart, and do all your notches. And so you can, I want you to do your dart, interfacing dart, and then this first seam, which is this one, right here, this seam. And that's the seam where the pocket is going to go across. See, when you look the garment, the front, and then the side piece, and then we're going to work the pocket with the flap over that. Okay, any questions? So it's all really simple.
I have a question. So You mean for us to cut the face out and then just iron the face directly on the fusible?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Now, yeah, basically, what you're supposed to be doing is you cut out your garment, you cut out the lining, you cut the interfacing. Then you fuse the interfacing to the self, to the fabric pieces. Then you trace the darts. Because once you know, if you put it the other way around, you're going to wipe out the tracing as soon as you put the interfacing over it. So you do now if you cannot trace the dart onto the interfacing, you should just use your shock and just measure it out. And, you know, you can do that by just finding your center and, you know, or wait until you see me. But, so basically you can get a lot of stuff, little things done, okay? Especially with the lining again. You have to do these things in sections. And we're trying to simplify it and do it quickly so that we can concentrate more on the stuff that is going to be harder to do, like your pocket, you know, when we get to the, you know, the mock placket, you know, your color, those things take more time later. You know, setting the sleeve the right way. You know, there's a lot of work in there that, so we're trying to get all that simple. So you can you find your pieces in your syllabus, and I have the markers, and you can just transfer them. So that's a good start, okay? Let's go.